Spawn! The King of Hell making his way into Mortal Kombat. Finally. What's up guys, Blitz here today bringing you another video. Spawn came out not too long ago and we finally got to see what he's about. This character, I swear, has the most mid attacks in this game. His pressure game can be solid and really on point if you know what you're doing, and that's exactly what this video is for. His design and the amount of skins that he has is, in my opinion, the best in this game. They really went into detail with his character, and Keith David as his voice actor is better than ever. Some of these lines he has are just insane and a complete night and day difference from the Dimitri Sub-Zero skin. Stay tuned for the end of this video where I talk about my new subreddit I made for you guys to join. We're trying to build a community here and I'd love to see some of the stuff you guys are going to post. So without further ado, let's get into this video and learn how to play and even beat Spawn. Starting with his normal, Spawn's standing 1 and crouching 1 are pretty good at 7 frames. His down 1 has pretty solid range and is a good tool for poking opponents as well. Standing 3, his is a high so it can be ducked, but look at the range on this attack. You can almost reach your opponent from match start. Spawn is all about the crazy range, so spacing with him won't be difficult. His standing 3 is also special cancelable, so you can go into a special move after it lands. Standing 3 is also a really good option to anti-air opponents with, and you can get juggle combos off of it for pretty good damage if you special cancel it, and a restand if you don't amplify that second part. Down 3 is a good poke that hits low and can catch opponents off guard. Down 4, surprisingly, is a hand blast, which is interesting because most characters use their feet for this input. Right now I think Spawn, in my opinion, has the best low sweep in the game. The range is insane and hits low twice, and it's not even part of his hurt box, so it's technically intangible, meaning he can't be hit or traded with while using this attack. This move is just insane. You guys shouldn't be shy to use this in neutral. This move actually hits your opponent from match start as well. The second hit will hit them 1 time, but if you're a little bit closer, the demon will hit twice, which makes this move crazy because it's also -6 on block, which is safe. You won't be getting punished too much by using this, so be sure to keep your opponents in check with this one and space it. All of these moves have solid frame data and are pretty safe as well. There are some pretty amazing things you can do with his strings too, but we will be getting into that shortly. Here is me showcasing exactly how far the sweep reaches from match start. The second hit can actually land. Back 1 is a mid attack with really great range. It's just a micro step away from hitting your opponent from match start. The hitbox is very wide as well, so at certain ranges you can actually hit your jumping in opponents with this. The second comboable hit for this is an overhead attack as well, and it pops opponents up. It's not special cancelable, but you can dash forward and start comboing other strings together, which we will get into later in this video. Forward 2 is probably his best range attack and it hits as a mid. This move can hit from match start and also combos into a low attack to catch people off guard. We will be using this move a lot in neutral to start combos with. Spawn's down 2 has a lot of vertical range, and he also uses his cape to extend it even more. It of course has a Krushing Blow just like all the other characters, and we will showcase that later on because this move will land a lot. Forward 4 is a low hitting move with okay range. He does take a step forward, but you're going to want to space this a little bit better. Compared to his other moves, this range is kind of surprising, but of course it's special cancelable and can be used to start combos. Short hop attacks are not something I always mention in these videos, but Spawns are pretty damn good. Short hops don't give you any combo opportunities, but you can catch your opponents off guard with them in the corner, especially if they're not blocking high. If you haven't noticed by now, the theme with Spawn is that he has amazing range. His short hops are no excuse. These things reach a pretty damn good distance for an overhead. Be sure to use these to mix up your pressure approach on your opponents. Now onto his special moves. Spawn's projectile travels full screen pretty quickly. Up close, this move can actually hit twice, and if you amplify it, it follows up with a second projectile that hits as a mid altogether 3 times. What's impressive about this move is that you can actually amplify it on block to make yourself safe. Normally, it's -14 on block, but when you amplify it, it becomes -4, and Spawn is safe. It's a decent option to end your strings with. Unholy Veil has some pretty damn cool properties to it. It travels a mid-range distance for a satisfying ending animation, and it can also be cancelled with 1 bar to fake out your opponents. Also, if you hold down 2 while doing the move, Spawn will hold this animation, and if a projectile hits his cape, he will parry the opponent and it causes a pop-up Krushing Blow. Very solid damage can come off of this. However, if your opponent amplifies or shoots out 2 projectiles, Spawn will be hit by the second one unfortunately, and it'll cancel out the attack. But there is another way that Spawn can use this. For certain projectiles, you can block the first one and then go into Unholy Veil. Spawn will parry the second projectile and follow up with the attack, and it will Krushing Blow. Practice this and be aware it works on slower follow-up projectiles, so Shang Tsung's Amplify here beats it. But his Ground Eruption does not. Keep on practicing this because it'll make a huge difference for matchups with Spawn. The cancel from Unholy Veil can greatly benefit you, especially if you already used the Krushing Blow off of it. If you cancel the animation after parrying the projectile, you can actually dash in and full combo punish your opponent. To do this, you need to hold Unholy Veil and press down to cancel after the projectile has landed. Mastering this will make you a ridiculous Spawn player to play against. Spawn can glide in the air like Batman from Injustice. This move can provide some awesome looking combo extensions off of pop-ups, and you can also shorten the distance that it travels to stay closer to the target. You can also extend combos off of a jump-in punch with it, but the timing can be tricky in an online environment. You want to cancel the jump punch at the lowest possible moment to ensure that the second one hits. Charging Hellspawn in this variation is how you're going to extend most of your combos. Amplifying it pops opponents up and can lead to some great damaging follow-ups. The range in this move is pretty good, but of course it's unsafe if your opponent blocks it, so be sure to hit confirm your combos before committing to this move. Also, if your opponent blocks this move, you cannot go into the Amplify version, so keep that in mind, it's really unsafe. Fatal Phantasm is a very, very good move, and it's what you're going to want to end all of your combos with in this variation. Even if you're juggling your opponent and you land a regular version of this, it will put your opponent in a restand and give you 5 frames of hit advantage, meaning you can attack first. The amplified version of this move does more damage and knocks your opponent down. Here's an example of exactly how much of an advantage you are at. Since you are at +5, your opponent is using a frame 7 move to try to hit you. Your moves will still come out first, depending on the frame date of the move you're using, of course. If they are spamming buttons, you can even get a free Krushing Blow off of down 2 since it will be a punish or a counter. Here's an example of how you would use Fatal Phantasm to end a combo. Off of an overhead starter, you can leave your opponent in a restand, then mix them up by going for a low combo string and ending the combo whichever way you want. You can even go for another Phantasm and continue to mix them up. Always mix up the way your approach is to keep your opponent guessing. This alone can even end a round if you keep guessing right. And since they are in a restand, they can't wake up attack you here. Now onto his combo strings. 1-1 is a very easy hit confirm string with a fast startup at 7 frames. It has hit advantage of 16 frames and on blocked is +2, which is very good. You can also start your combos off with this because it can punish many moves. You can also extend combos with this thanks to its fast startup as well. Back 1-2 is a very important string. Aside from it having amazing range for spacing, it can create a pop-out which you can dash in from and continue combos with. It's not special cancelable, but that's okay because you don't really need it to be. 2-4 is a great forward advancing string. This is great especially for extending combos because of how far and fast Spawn moves while using it. Forward 2-1 has the best range and can reach opponents from match start. The second hit is a low, which is great for catching opponents not blocking low, then you can special cancel it into a combo. Forward 2-3 is another follow-up just like this move, but the second hit does not hit low. However, both hits are mids and do pretty solid damage to start combos with. 3-4 has really good range, but the first hit is a high so they can duck it. You have plenty of strings to combo with for Spawn, which is really good for him as a character. Forward 4-1-3 is a really good string because it starts with a low and goes into 2 mids. The full string does not special cancel until you input the final hit and quickly go into a special move. This will bypass the last hit and Spawn can do a special move after the second hit. Earlier I mentioned that Spawn's 1-1 is +2 on block, but now I want to go into that a little bit more, including some other strings. With 1-1 being +2 on block, you can get some pressure on your opponents and even jail them with a down 1 to keep them in check. It's not something to go for every time, but great to keep in mind for certain matchups. 1-1 back 2 if held down is +7 on block, which is insane. But if you press back 2 instead of holding it down, the move will come out faster. However, it is unsafe at -8 on block. There is a gap in the middle where you can be jabbed out of it if they're quick enough. Be sure to utilize this move well because a lot of players won't know to do this. Also, be sure to learn this so you know how to beat it. It is risky to try to beat this because if you are a little bit late, it can Krushing Blow for massive damage. Practice with your character to see which moves can actually beat this. Using this for block string pressure is really good as well because it puts your opponent at a far enough distance to connect your back 1-2 string. The same can be done with your forward 2-1 string, which again hits low and can get some solid damage going when you special cancel it. Remember, 1-1 back 2 pushes opponents back far enough and you are also safe enough to hit them first to continue pressure. Spawn has a lot of range on his move, so mix up the approach for this with whichever move that you want that can reach. 2-4 up 3-2 is also safe on block and ends with an overhead. This move is a cool looking string that has a Krushing Blow attached to the middle of it, which you will get into shortly. This string needs to be inputted pretty quickly in order to be executed. Now on to Spawn's Krushing Blows. The first one I want to talk about is this forward throw. This one is super practical in my opinion, and you'll be using this one almost every match. Most opponents want to get you in the corner to limit your options, but with Spawn, if he's in the corner and lands a forward throw, he gets a full combo that can deal and lead to massive combo damage. Make sure you practice the timing that it takes to hit that next part. 1-1 back to Krushing Blows, whether it's a punish or a counter hit. There is no combo ability to this, but it can lead to some game-changing damage. 2-4 up 3-2 needs to be inputted pretty quickly, and the third hit needs to be the only hit that lands. It travels a pretty far distance and can catch opponents off guard. And also remember, it's safe on block, so using this to fish for Krushing Blows can work out pretty well. And also, when this Krushing Blow lands, it automatically uses the glide special move, so you can continue to combo off of this. Unholy Veil can Krushing Blow off of parrying a projectile, and amazingly, it creates a pop-up. Spawn all around has some very useful Krushing Blows that can throw out some really good damage. This is, in my opinion, what Mortal Kombat 11 was missing. Very useful Krushing Blows that can be activated on command. I hope going forward, future characters and even some of the existing characters can be reworked in this way. Here are some combos I think you guys should learn if you want to do well with Spawn. A lot of Spawn's combos require some really good muscle memory and practice, so make sure you can nail these in an online environment, especially those glide punch combos. They seem tricky at first, but once you understand the timing, it's much easier to execute. I also end a lot of these with the amplified down back 3 to showcase the max potential damage, but remember, that's not always the best route to go about. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that down back 3 special, non-amplified, leaves your opponent in a restand. This is essential to use for pressuring opponents with Spawn, because you're not always going to have 2 full bars. Leave them standing and then opt to go either for an overhead or low mix-up. Spawn has plenty of options at his disposal, so take the time to learn these tools so you can dominate players online. There's another way to do this combo, like jump 2 canceling after the Krushing Blow, but I could not land it for the life of me. It does about 1% more than this combo here, but I'm going for consistency, guys. Now on to Spawn's first tournament variation, From Hell. From Hell is a lot less combo heavy than the first one that we talked about, but that doesn't mean it's bad at all. His base moves are unchanged, so let's talk about his new special moves. Gun Blazing is an upward angled projectile that juggles your opponent in the air. If you're close enough, it can hit grounded opponents, and then if you amplify it, Spawn walks the opponent down while literally blazing his guns like a badass. You can end certain combos with this and amplify it to maximize your damage and look pretty damn cool while doing it. This special move is part of his base kit, which I forgot to mention, Soul Shattering War Club. It can be used as a combo ender and amplified for more damage. However, the main function of this move is that it can beat armored attacks, including fatal blows. Blaze of Glory is a low-hitting move that actually has a parry, but it only parries low attacks. It can be special cancelled into combos and then amplified to walk the opponent down guns blazing, just like his other special move. Just like Unholy Veil, it can be cancelled to continue pressuring your opponents. If you parry a low attack, it can Krushing Blow for massive damage, and unlike many other Krushing Blows, you can still amplify it afterwards to maximize the total damage. If you know your opponent has a string that has a low in it, and it's a big enough delay in between the first hit, then you can parry that attack just like you could do with Unholy Veil. And also, just the same with Unholy Veil, you can cancel the parry to follow up pressure on your opponent, which is super helpful, especially if you already use the Krushing Blow. It functions the same exact way. You need to hold the animation down, and then when the attack parries, you press down to cancel it, and then combo your opponent. The only issue really is that you can't get crazy damage in this variation because of the lack of special move pop-ups, so you're limited to what you can get. The last special move is the Fallen Angel. This is basically a dive kick with a large hitbox. The cape can also knock opponents down. This doesn't land as an overhead, and there isn't any really combo ability outside of jump and kick with this, so it's kind of a disappointing move in my opinion. As I said before, this is not a combo heavy variation, but the following here are just an idea of what you can get going in this variation. Most of your crazy damaging combos will come off a Krushing Blow, so be sure to chip away and pressure your opponent from those restands and you will be fine. Condition them to block overhead and then go low, and vice versa. And finally, Spawn's third tournament variation, Hellspawn. This variation is similar to the last one in the sense that it's not very combo heavy, however the special moves you have access to in this one are super fun. Right now we have the dummy set to block all attacks both overhead and low. His first special move, Hell Chain, is a mid-range throw that can beat blocks. It has a bit of delay in the beginning, and rightfully so because this move is insane if it's used in block strings. You can be interrupted if your opponent knows it's coming and times a jab or a low kick. This variation can be really fun, especially if you keep mixing up your approach with different combo strings and cancel into Hell Chain. If you amplify this and hold it down, you can get extra damage and go invisible just like Reptile. However, you do slightly less damage while invisible, but the main goal is to do another Hell Chain while invisible so you get the Krushing Blow, which does massive damage. Raising Hell replaces your restand special move, but it hits low twice and travels full screen. When you amplify it, it detonates for a mid attack, hitting twice depending on where and when you amplify it. You could also get this to hit 3 times because the first initial hitbox actually counts as a hit. You can use this in combo strings to extend for a bit of damage if your opponent isn't blocking low. It's unsafe on block until you amplify it, which makes it -7. Lethal Letha is a stance attack which hits as a mid. You can hold 4 to extend the animation and to fake out opponents. If you hold down and then let go of 4, it does a low attack which can be super useful in combos or even block strings. However, it is very unsafe at -14, so beware using this in block strings. I wouldn't use this all too much or focus on it entirely. It's very good for switching sides and even has a Krushing Blow attached to it. However, the requirements are a bit risky. You need to have held the animation and not select an attack for a bit, then select the low attack and amplify. The Krushing Blow will execute itself. This will not combo into every string. You need to have initial hit stun in order to cancel quickly into it. So moves like 1-1, forward 2-1, forward 4-1-3, and 2-4 all work well with this. And of course, you can cancel the stance by pressing up twice while holding the animation at the cost of 1 defensive bar. The main use of this is to pressure and throw off your opponent after conditioning to block or react to this move. Now here are some combos you can do in this variation. There are many others, but I only showed the essentials because I'm sure there are some that I missed. Be sure to let me know in the comments below if there are any that I need to know that you did not see. I'm always happy to learn more about these combos from you guys. Your input is always welcomed. That pretty much wraps up how to play Spawn. I went back to the format of doing all 3 variations in one video. I know they may take a little bit longer, but I feel more motivated to knocking them out this way. And I get to learn all 3 for the sake of it. Not to mention, they seem to do well as far as views and exposure goes when they're all in one video. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this one. Earlier I mentioned I set up a subreddit for the channel. Be sure to check that out in the description below so you can join and start posting your stuff there. Anything is welcome as far as gaming memes or even funny content, so be sure to share. The subreddit is called BltzZ and it's the same way I spell my name on the channel. It's still in its earlier stages, but I look forward to seeing you guys on there as we continue to spruce things up and make the subreddit look a little bit better and more presentable. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Spawn. It's been a while since I made one of these and I do feel very horrible about that. That's going to change. The next character up is Noob Saibot and I'm currently getting footage from him as we speak. So I'm looking to get that out ASAP while it still be in depth. This video ran on a bit longer than others, but I do feel like Spawn has so much tech to him that every night I would find out more and more things about him that I needed to keep adding stuff to it. Once you master Spawn, you can give any player a headache with his mid attacks and restand combos. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new. More Mortal Kombat videos will be coming your way and you won't want to miss any of that. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.